there, welcome back to the Rare Book Views channel. Today I am back from vacation to Alaska, which was fantastic. And of course, for me, it was a bookcation. I did a lot of reading, I had a little extra time, and I just love getting to spend some time with new books. I actually took some paperbacks with me and I took my Kindle, but really stuck to actual books that I happen to have on hand, and that was wonderful. I love to read before I travel. I love to read a little bit about something maybe set in the area that I'm visiting or about the history, and this time I read Astoria by Peter Stark. This was wonderful. This is about one of the initial expeditions to the Pacific Northwest and all of the interesting events leading up to it. I loved this. I thought it might be a little bit of in-depth history and it might be a little bit of a slog, but the author did such a great job. He did not spend a ton of time on the itinerary or this happened and then it was high drama, weird hijinks, very dangerous, and completely fascinating. So this was great, and I started it before I left and then finished it on the trip. I have never read anything, I think, about the Lewis and Clark expedition or the journals. If you've read something and you could recommend it, I think I really want to dig into that next. If you've read a good edition or any of the books about it that you think I should check out, please let me know. So this was super enjoyable. I also read the next book for me in the Mary Russell series by Laurie King. This is If Sherlock Holmes Had a Female Companion Who Was Also Helping to Investigate and Solve Mysteries. I really like it. I think the problem solving is really cool. It's very in the tradition of Sherlock Holmes, but the relationships and the people and the characters are really well developed. So this was super fun for light reading, which is great for vacation, and enjoyable and super fun. So I loved this. I can't wait to read the next one in the series. I think that was number 4 in the series. I also read Among the Mad by Jacqueline Winspear. This is the next book, again, to me, in the Maisie Dobbs series. And I've read a few of these, ups and downs. I like them, but I don't love all of them. And this one, I really like to focus on the positive, but I feel like I have to tell you, the paper quality in this book is the paper so thin that you can read the type through the next page. And I actually wondered, is this a bootleg copy? Is that a thing? Does anyone know? Is it like DVDs? Can you get a copy that is off printed or something? Other than that, I thought it was pretty good. There were a couple times where I feel like the author really forces things into the plot, and I find it a little bit distracting. Generally, I think the time period is really interesting. The setting is interesting. The characters are pretty strong. So I think I'm going to check out the next one, partly because I bought a later book in the series and have it on hand, so I feel like I have to stick with it. But these were very good, and it's just so great to have time and feel a little bit spoiled to really read at length on vacation. Love it. I, of course, went to a couple bookstores and I took a little bit of footage so I can show you around a couple of the local sections. I love when I'm traveling to check out local bookstores, especially the independent ones. They often cater to people like me who are just stopping through. They have really nice sections of local history, books written by local authors. So let's take a look at a couple shelves in Alaska. So I went to a couple of stores in Alaska. I hope you enjoyed that. I love the stuff that accompanies bookstores when you're traveling. It's so tempting. I just want all of the gear, and you can see some of them are really cool. I was looking specifically, I wanted to buy a book that was something local that would be enjoyable to read while I was traveling, and I got so lucky. I found The Snow Child. I cannot pronounce this author's first name, but her last name is Ivey. It's a Pulitzer Prize nominee. It was written by a woman from Alaska. I love this, and I am about halfway through, and I'm savoring it. I don't want to finish it. It's so good. I am loving. It's so written so vividly about folks who were moving to Alaska during the homesteading period. I think this is such a fascinating time. It really captures the imagination. People, largely farmers, who moved to Alaska to be the first people who were creating these towns and really creating the farming. It's a really fascinating time where there was some incentives to move families to Alaska, especially after the Depression, when farmers were having a really rough time because of the weather and the Depression. So you could get very good terms to borrow money or get a mortgage and build your own house with no electricity, no running water, and just be the first ones there. The way this author describes it, it's really like you're there. And she is using a Russian folk tale that would have been told. There's a lot of Russian influence in Alaska. So this combination of these things, the way that she's combining them, is super clever, but it's very well executed. And I'm on the edge of my seat. What is going to happen? But I also don't want to finish it because it's so great. So I haven't finished this one yet. I do recommend it highly. And I bought this in one of the local stores that I visited. I paid full price for it, which for me is huge extravagance, but I love contributing to the local stores, and I think it's so great to make that part of your trip, to visit a local bookstore, invest a little bit, find a book that is going to remind you of the trip. I can't wait to read more books, I hope, by this author and about Alaska. And like I said, I would love to read maybe a Lewis and Clark centered book, and that might be next. So that was my bookcation. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you did, leave me a comment or a like. Subscribe if you're interested. Let me know if you want to hear more about my book travels, and let me know where you're going and if you need a book suggestion. Thanks for watching. Happy reading.